Good evening, everyone. Today is September 27, 2022. This is our regular council meeting, and I think that's the last meeting for this budget year. Let's call the meeting to order. Madam Acting Deputy or Clerk or
Yes.
Deputy
Councilwoman
Clerk.
Timothy? Mayor Bieneme?
Here.
Councilman Galvin? I know he's here. Councilwoman Estime Irvin?
Present.
Vice Mayor Desolme?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you very much. And tonight we have the invocation with Pastor Mike Davis from Prince of Peace Missionary Baptist Church, and the Pledge of Allegiance with Major Ransom Carter from the North Miami Police Department. Please rise. Pastor Davis.
Good evening. Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking you for guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in a meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bounds of the community. May God bless those that were affected by the storm and the aftermath, and let us globally show our love and support. Thank you, God, as the storm bypasses us. Those that are in the path, let them be safe. We know your will must be done. Please, we ask you to spare and preserve life. Material things can be replaced. We ask these things and blessings in Jesus' name, and all God's children will say amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor Davis and Major Ransom Carter from the Police Department. Madam City Manager, moving forward, do we have any addition, deletion, amendments, or deferral to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, is the agenda set to proceed?
Yes, Mayor. Your agenda is set. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. No special presentation today. City announcements, no announcement. Do you have any appointments? Thank you very much. Can we move to the consent?
So move.
Let's read. Madam
Oh.
Clerk.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Irving to move the consent agenda, seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. All in favor? All opposed?
No.
The consent agenda is comprised on
Yeah, you
tab
gotta read
A
it.
to C.
Through C, yes.
Can I motion? We have a motion. First and second.
Did you second?
No.
Oh, she
Oh.
didn't second. I'll second.
second.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
That's
Okay, so we
Sir.
have a motion made by Councilwoman Estime Irving, seconded by Mayor Bieneme. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 4-0.
okay. Tab D.
Tab D. A proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a modification to the professional services agreement and to issue purchase orders to ICF Incorporated LLC for disaster recovery management consultant services in an amount not to exceed $123,448, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab D.
Thank you very much. A quick presentation.
Tab D represents our disaster recovery company. So they work with us to do our ARP reporting, and they've also done some of our CARES Act reimbursements. We've been working with them in terms of a change order to work on additional ARPA and to modify the amount.
Oh, it's not for disaster recovery.
It's not the DRC.
Hurricane.
This
Oh,
is,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's open it to the public. Tab D is open to the public. Tab D is now closed. Is there any question or can I hear a motion on tab D?
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irving, seconded by Councilwoman Timothy.
No.
No, it was actually made by Vice Mayor.
And seconded by,
Me.
So it was motion by Vice Mayor,
Yeah.
seconded by Councilwoman Estimate Irving. Thank you for that. All in favor? All opposed? Item passes 4-0.
Tab E.
Tab E, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the award of fiscal year 2022 through 2023 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG funds to not-for-profit, community-based organizations, CBOs, as required by 24 CFR 570.201E, providing for an effective date and all other purposes.
Okay, since
Tab
thank you very much. At the CBOs, let's open to the public, and I think that's. Can you state it, how many people that apply and how many people receive the grants and how much it is? Just the
Albert
list.
Brazil, Housing and Social Services Director, to the manager. This year, we have 14 people attending the workshop, 7 submitted application. They were reviewed by the advisory panel. They were all awarded funding for this upcoming fiscal year.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Unless public hearing is now closed. And do we have any?
yes.
If we don't have, if
We
it's,
do.
I have
Okay.
some questions.
Try to get this.
or can we move it to the next if there's questions?
Long
Because
questions?
Do you want me to go
Trying to
first?
pull it up.
Oh,
yeah, go first.
thank you, Mayor. Through the manager, I have a, to Ms. Bazil, question for, which one are new this year? Is it two, the Apex
Two,
Life Consulting?
Apex, and then Educate Tomorrow.
Educate Tomorrow. And I was looking at the description for one of them, and I didn't understand specifically what they were doing, Apex Life Consulting.
Okay, this one, she's working with the senior in terms of Medicare. Medicare, you have Part A, Part B. Part A, they don't pay for it. Part B, they have to pay. So this organization, what he does, there is a special form that they can file on behalf of the senior, where they will remove the payment for Part B of Medicare.
Okay, that
So
was,
that's more money in the pocket of the seniors.
that wasn't listed in their description, so that's why I was just like, senior services, what exactly is that?
Yeah, it's really to remove the fee for Part B of Medicare.
And we know exactly what services that they're providing, that this is a need. The only thing, when you say Medicare, I'm a little bit mindful of that, because I want to ensure that for people who need assistance with Medicare, because I know it's very complicated, whether it's A, B, or C, and where, you know, if you have a payment and if it's coming out of your social, whatever the case is. I know it gets confusing, and this is dealing with people's health insurance. Have we vetted this organization to see if they're providing services other places?
No, that's exactly what we are doing. They're already working in the field, but that's my first time working with them. So this is someone we will have to sit and discuss the whereabouts. We are manipulating documents, social security numbers, senior people. So we will have to sit down and do the whereabouts. The same way we approach, for instance, any services regarding health. They need to have some sort of coding when they're presenting the information and so forth. But this is my first rodeo with them. I will have to sit down with them. And we were very timid in whatever we awarded to them. So just to put them a foot in, because this is a service that we think will be beneficial for the senior.
And are they providing it to other cities?
No,
No.
not that I'm aware of, because with the application, I spoke to them. They're working with seniors, like helping them apply for Medicare, those kind of thing. They're doing that, but with other city, no, not that I'm aware of.
And the last thing, Mayor, I may ask that we continue this item only because I did request an audited report when they were brought before. And I know I made a request to the manager at my last briefing that we audit these CBOs to ensure the services that are being provided, or we just give an annual report to the council so that we have some backup to how many people are they servicing, you know, so we know if there's a need and we have to allocate additional dollars. I would like to have that information.
For that specific organization?
No,
or
no, for all of them. I had
everybody?
made that request several times.
Okay. Thank
for
you very
that
much.
report.
Let's.
Yeah, quick question, Mr. Mayor Albert. When we went into the portal, were we supposed to score the? Oh, okay. No. I didn't
It's
know.
just for review.
Just for okay. I didn't score, but I just saw it. For review. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion to postpone this until the next meeting. And as
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to postpone the item and seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0 to postpone.
And Mr. Mayor, sorry,
Yes,
we're in a different
yes.
meeting. Are the applicants here this evening? Okay, a couple, for when it comes back, it would be great to have every organization who's receiving money in the room for questions. I've been through this so many years that there were points where if you weren't in the room, you didn't get the money. So,
No, it was required that they show up tonight. 2 of them sent me notice due to the weather. They couldn't attend, but most of them are here right now.
okay,
We got 5 present and
Okay,
2 called.
that- that's good to see. Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming, everybody.
thank you very much. Let's go to the next item. Tab F.
Tab F, a proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute an agreement with ACOM Technical Services, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $280,637 for the provision of infrastructure studies of the city potable water distribution and sanitary sewer collection system in support of the comprehensive plan update in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specification contained in request for qualifications number 08-17-18, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab F.
Thank you.
We've had conversations about the infrastructure study that needs to happen in order for us to be able to apply for and get additional bonus units. So this is this is the company that we are going to enter into a contract with AECOM, and they're going to do the full citywide study so that we can have the additional units. We are working with them on an expedited basis so that we can get their finalized report at the same time that we're finalizing the comprehensive plan.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Tab F is open to the public. Tab F is closed to the public. Is there any question on the dais? Public hearing is closed.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
How long will the study take?
We spoken to them to try to get us a result of the study by the time that the comprehensive plan is due, which would have been in December. This is on an expedited basis.
Okay.
I have a question. Is the study looking at the city comprehensively or only places where we have plan development?
Well, it's a comprehensive look at the entire city, but they would look at the places where it would be eligible to have additional units as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Madam Manager. The purpose is for the additional bonus unit, right? Oh, okay. Thank you.
Can I have your motion if there's no questions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irving, seconded by Councilman Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item F passes 5-0.
Thank you.
First reading of tab G. That's where we are.
Tab G, a proposed first reading ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of North Miami entitled Administration, Article 3 entitled Boards, Committees, Commissions at Division 12 entitled Citizen Investigative Board, specifically at Section 2-260 entitled Creation of the Citizen Investigative Board, to remove the spending cap on the annual budget, providing for conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab G.
Can you give us an explanation of what it is exactly?
Yes, this was an item that was prepared on behalf of the Vice Mayor. As you may recall, when the Citizen Investigative Board was approved by the council through the ordinance, on second reading, there was a change to the ordinance that that limited the budget of the CIB to 1.5% of the police department's budget. The request here tonight is to have that change and remove the 1.5% cap on the budget for the CIB.
To be one.
You'd have to ask the Vice Mayor.
Yes.
that question.
It was my proposal, Mr. Mayor. The request that that's before you is to remove the cap that we have because we don't know what cases might come, and based on the proposed budget that we have with, I think it's 300 and something that is budgeted, or for something.
It's closer to 4. It represents about it's actually 1.5% of the budget.
1.5% of the budget, which is accurate. So just in the near future, if we do have something, so the cap kind of kept it, at that
But it's better to
1.5%.
keep it like that. If in the future we need it, we will do a budget amendment. But it's
Well-
rather keep the cap the way it is, so we see exactly what they're doing. We don't know what they're doing, and it's better to keep the cap since it's 1.5% of the police department budget. What about if we lower the? What about if?
Well, that's why we don't
if
want to
we
tie
remove
it. That's why we don't want to tie it with the.
It's better to
this-
tie it. For me,
Well,
it's better. Listen, the CIB it's 1.5 of the police department. We haven't seen movement what they've been doing,
they just
unless we see
bounced.
the need. We haven't seen the need for more money. And for me, I will keep it that way. That's just me.
I would ask to.
Do you have any other?
Well, go ahead.
Do you have any?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would agree with you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to see more from them. At this stage, all we've done is hire somebody and appoint a board. I question a little bit whether or not they are worthy of what they're getting. So to raise
The 3
it-
something? Are we serious? Are we gonna have this conversation?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that, because if we look at different departments, and since it is tied with the police department, we are talking about equality here. 1.5% of where we are, we just started a department, and I do understand it started late, but if it comes in the middle of the year, then what do we do?
We
That
do
was the.
come up with a budget amendment. We allocated the money. If there's anything, we don't want to give them a ton of money and we don't see to hire people. And what about if throughout the year you have only one case and they spend $2-3 million?
No, well, how would they spend $2 or $3 million? We're
You said
removing the
if-
cap. The cap that we have capped them. The maximum that they would get would be 1.5 of the police department. So we're trying to uncap it with the police department where
That's
it
when
has.
they're gonna they get the money from the police department.
No, it does not come
Where
from the
they
police
get the money
department.
from?
It comes from the general budget, just like any other department.
No, it's from the police department.
No,
No, it is.
No, but okay.
no.
I'm in
Go ahead,
favor
let-
of keeping the cap at 1.5%.
I understand, but we got to set the record straight. That has nothing to do with the police department budget.
I
When we
understand
did-
that, but we are. for
Okay,
me,
but
I prefer.
I understand, Mr. Mayor, but I need to explain that. When it first came forward, part of the stuff that we did get from the county was one of the ways that we need to do it is if we tie it with the police department budget, assuming if the police department, whatever that budget may be, different things. But Councilman Galvin just raised a point saying that they don't know exactly what the CIB is doing, which is the Citizen Investigating Board. That is a board that just established. There's plenty department within a lot of city stuff that we don't question or what they do or their budget. So I'm a little puzzled in terms of.
Councilman Desume, there's a difference between the department that have been here for 20 years and we know exactly what they're doing. With the CIB, we don't know what they're doing as of right now.
They just
Unless
launched
exactly.
last year. So
We don't want to give them a ton of money until we see what they're doing exactly.
the request is not, and I understand and I see where the sentiment is going, but the request is not to give them more money. The request is to untie the 1.5% from the police department,
What's
which
the
it doesn't
reason?
get that.
What's the reason?
I think I just stated the reason, just in case if something does
You say
happen,
in case.
or if
We don't put budget in case. If after 1 year we realize that the money allocated last year is not enough, then we allocated more money.
so. If there's an issue within the city,
It's everything. If there is an issue, we meet and we amend the budget and we find the money.
well, if
There is a need.
I would respectfully say there's a need, but I could see the sentiment of the rest of the council. It is what it is. So, hey. But I still like to vote on it, even if I'm the only
No,
yes
no,
vote on
no.
it. Sure.
Okay, let's open it to the pub.
Oh, the question
Let's
for
open it
us?
to the public. Hold on. Tab G. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab G. Public hearing is now closed. Oh.
Hector Medina, 1270 Northeast, 124th. There is a handful of boards in the whole United States that are successful in these kind of endeavors. And they have only one thing in common. All of them have subpoena power. This board doesn't have subpoena power, so it's just a waste of money.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. You are gonna say something.
I just had a question. I know the CIB has been established and its purpose and when it was established. Do we know what the case flow is like right now? Do we have a consensus of how many complaints were brought forward in the year that since it's been established?
Dr. Harris?
Good evening, Council. Mayor Philip Harris, Executive Director of the CIB. Currently, we received 2 inquiries that came into our office. One of them was dismissed because it was more of a labor relations type case. But in fact, we did receive another one that is currently under a current review.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much.
No, that was it for me.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you. So in 2020, a majority of us voted to have this board, and I'm very proud of the fact that we did. But before I say anything, I'd like to say that I am so proud of our police department, and I think we have the best. But when I voted for this, I also stated on the record that I think the board is necessary. However, I just want to make sure that we are mindful about the budget. So, Vice Mayor,
Yes.
I won't be in support of it. I'm in support of the board. I just don't feel the need to reclassify it in the way that you choose to. So I
Yes.
just want to say that I am supportive of the board, and
Got
I
it.
think you know that. Okay.
Thank you.
And so I will be voting no on this item tonight.
Okay, no problem.
But the point is not about the department.
But it is.
And we've been
Mr.
saying
Mayor.
we don't have enough money to pay the police to give them the COLA, and we have to call.
This is not
We
about
are in
the
litigation with the police department, with the union, and because we don't have enough money in the budget to give them benefits, and now asking me to remove a cap on the CIB, and when in reality we don't know what's going to happen. I don't see why we will put. I don't see the need for that now.
Okay, would you
It's not
allow me?
about the CRB right now have 1.5% of the police budget as the budget. Is it correct, Madam City Manager?
It's currently budgeted, yes.
How much they have? How much is the budget?
408,849 for 22-23.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think Councilwoman Estimate Irvin talked to the court when the board was created. And Mr. Mayor, it has absolutely nothing to do with the police department. And to the person who came forward, it does have subpoena power. That was one of the things that we wanted to talk about in terms of the CIB.
That
But
means this one has subpoena power.
Mr. Attorney, in terms of, but the purpose of the board, if we look at the resolution and the purpose of this request, it goes back to the core when we first established. And the fact that we have council persons putting this with the police department, no, I will be the only person voting yes for it, because the purpose of it was we had situations in the past, and if we do have situations where black and brown folks feel like they need somewhere to go, that was the purpose of the board. It had absolutely nothing to do with our police department. We all know we do have a wonderful police department, and we support the police department, and we said that during the time of the vote. This request, the reason that I came for it after I spoke to a couple of boards, is if we do have some issues that does arise, and there's cases, this has not even been advertised in terms of the city. So the fact that we have two cases that the director mentioned, we don't know what's happening, but we are in the city in terms of things may happen. Now, you just mentioned, Mr. Mayor, tying in with the police department, and that's exactly why I proposed this. We do not tie it with the police department, where at the beginning folks thought that this had something to do with our police. We thought this and this and that, and we who voted for it, and I as the person who put this forward, made it very clear. And this was at the time, the unrest of the George Floyd, what was happening to black and brown people. So if I shall be the lone vote on this one, I will be.
Yeah, but Vice Mayor, it's not about the commission. It's talking about removing a cap, a budget. It's
exactly.
Not about the commission.
Everything has something to do with money.
Yeah, but last year they have a budget. Did they go over the budget
it's
last
not,
year?
We're not even, Mr. Mayor.
We're talking about money, but
I understand.
Yeah, but you cannot tie the commission and the purpose of the commission. We're not against the commission and its purpose. What we are doing is just you want to remove the cap. You want to, so they can spend whatever they want. We said, no, we're going to keep the cap.
No.
It has nothing to do with the commission and its purpose.
Well, I would beg to differ based on the argument here. No, the manager decides what goes in the budget in terms of that. All this proposal does is remove if there's any cap. That's all. We're not saying that they're going to go and get 500,000.
Why
they're getting
removing
less.
the cap?
I just stated why.
Why?
That's not good enough anymore.
You say in case. But in case we're going to meet, and I'm pretty much sure the board going to meet, they're going to analyze the need for more money, and they're going to find the money, and we're going
to
do
do
it.
with the money. That's the core of this
Removing
argument.
the cap has to do with what? You said in case there is a need for more funding.
If there's more funding, or it could be less. So the maximum is 1.5.
We're going to address it at that point.
At what point? If this thing happened in the middle of the year,
we always have things that happen in the middle of the year, and we take care of that.
Okay, that's fine, Mr. Mayor. I understand. This is North Miami. But
It's not enough Miami. It's about money. You just argue with the CRA that have $5 million
No,
more
this
in
is
the
another
budget.
meeting.
They
This is
create
another
two
meeting.
positions so they can spend that $5 million.
Yes.
You don't agree with it, and now you want to remove the cap to allow a new department to have more money.
No, not necessarily.
that's-
Again, you saying about more money. The budget is where we are.
Okay, if you
I am
remove the
proposing-
cap, it's because at any point they can come up and say, this is what they need. And now they don't have
Then-
to come before us,
No. Listen,
before whoever's going to be here. When you keep the cap, if there's a need for more money, they're going to come up and explain the need for more money. And
No.
this
No.
this body going to analyze it and they're going to
Mr.
approve it or not.
I will have to set the record straight. This was in the proposal when it was first presented, that the cap of the CIB, if it read the resolution, shall be 1.5% of the total budget of the police department. The simple thing that I'm asking the board, which majority of the board is against, is just removing that language. We're not saying that we're increasing their budget, or we're not, but if you limiting it, and then you just said that if it does come up to that, we will come and have a meeting and then kind of, find the money elsewhere, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That I totally disagree with, but it is what it is. But, it's politics.
It's not politics.
It
It's
is
not about the commission. We all agree there's a need for the commission. The point is now it's about money attached to the commission.
Yes?
You said the initial budget was 1.5% of the overall budget of the
police
CRA.
department.
And now you said to remove the cap.
Yes.
And we said, no, we're not removing the cap. It's not the commission.
Yeah, we
It's
know.
removing the budget cap
Mayor, may I?
that we don't want to do. Yes.
Can I make a friendly amendment that we keep it at the cap, but include a clause in there if there's a
It's
need,
the sa-
a need assessment?
It's the
then-
same thing. If
but I'm
there's
just
a
saying,
need, we
that way
always
he
can
ha-
come.
No, I know, but in case, because it's set in the resolution that it's capped at 1.5%. So if you keep it capped at 1.5% and just include a clause that says, if necessary, the CIB board will come before the city to state what their additional dollars would be. That's exactly what you said.
the same thing.
But it would give, I think, it would just, you would have it in writing that is no longer, it's still capped, but that there needs to be a process in order to determine
They
if
bring
there's
it
an
before
additional,
us.
additional need is, so, because I understand we also have financial situations in the city and we're trying to, keep our spending down as we should. But at the same time too, I hear your plea.
Okay, you have
Vice
a
Mayor.
friendly amendment to, what is the friendly amendment? To
To
keep the
keep
cap,
it, to
if
keep the cap
necessary,
at
they bring
1.5, if necessary, we create a process for the CIB to come forth with a budget adjustment if needed.
approved by mayor and council.
Correct.
May I ask what the process would be? Could we define what
They
that
would have to
process
bring
is?
it back the process.
That would be
That would-
They have
to
to
the
bring it
manager.
back to mayor and
Yeah.
council, not to the manager.
No, they got to go through the manager.
No, they go
I
to the
guess I would need
manager.
some
The manager
clarification
brings it
as to
before.
whether you're asking me to come back with a process, or
Yes.
if you're asking to say that if they wanted additional money,
No.
that it has to come and get
Whatever
voted
it
on by
is,
the
you got to
council.
come before us, before the
Okay,
board.
so if there's additional spending beyond 1.5%, then an item would need to come to the
Exactly,
board.
yeah.
That's what
Justify
that-
what the
Yes.
need is,
Yes.
correct. The same way the departments have to do a supplemental if they're requesting additional money, the CIB should be able to put in a supplemental to say what their needs are.
Vice Mayor, may I suggest that you table this and get all the process going and then bring it back?
Well,
So that it can,
I like her suggestion, if we can get budget already. And again, thank you, Councilwoman. And Councilwoman, it wasn't about them increasing the money. When we had the meeting with the city manager and the attorney, it was just the cap, the language that it had. And we didn't know if it, needed just a cap of the 1.5%. That was the issue. And, I did not know that this would have been a debate back and forth. But thank you, I will accept that, if so be.
If there's
Thank you.
any additional money attached to it, you bring an item before the board. Madam City Manager.
That would be my understanding of the friendly amendment.
Okay.
Keep the
Madam Clerk, can you call the vote, please?
Well, I need a second motion.
Did
Vice
you make
Mayor
it-
second then.
Oh, Vice Mayor.
Not yet, but I will.
Oh.
I do.
Okay, I have a motion made by Councilwoman Timothy to amend to approve the item with amendments that's stated on record, seconded by Vice Mayor Desume. I will have to do a roll call vote. Mayor Bieneme,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desume,
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irving,
No.
Councilwoman Timothy.
Yes.
With the amendment.
Yes, that's what I said,
Okay.
with the amendments. And
That's it.
Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
we have a vote of 4-1. Item passes.
Thank you.
With the friendly
Thank you, guys.
amendments.
Tab H.
Tab H, a proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving an application for a conditional use permit in substantially the attached form for a proposed mixed-use development consisting of a 7-story, 342-unit rental apartment building with the ground-level amenities, courtyard, 518 surface parking space, and 3,158 square feet of ground-level retail space on a parcel of real property located at 13855 Northwest 17th Avenue, identified with Miami-Dade folio number 06-2123-000-0060 and totaling approximately 7.60 acres in accordance with the Article 3, Division 4, Section 3-402 through 3-407, Article 4, Division 2, Sections 4-202, Sections 4-203, and Section 4-205, and Article 4, Division 3, Section 4-310 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and all other purposes, Tab H.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Derek Cook, Director of Planning, Zoning, and Community Development, through the manager, as stated by the Acting Deputy City Clerk, Ms. Thomas, Dr. Thomas. The item before you is a conditional use permit to allow for mixed-use residence located at Northwest 17th Avenue, specifically 13855 Northwest 17th Avenue. The request, as stated, is a conditional use. The parcel is approximately 7.6 acres, 330,620 square feet. The city previously approved a resolution number 2022 R46 to allow for the designation of a brownfield for this site. The current use primarily is a vacant lot with an abandoned building. The zoning is P3. It's mixed use required of 3 uses. One of them must be residential. The height max is 110 feet. The density base is 45. Through bonus, they can have an additional 15 units per acre for a total of 60 units per acre. This property is proposing by right at 45 units per acre. All development in the PD district must go through the conditional use permit process to have any kind of construction done at the site. The Planning Commission at its September 6th meeting approved the item with a recommendation of 5-0. The proposal is for 342 mixed-use development, which contains 171 one-bedroom units, 134 two-bedroom units, 33 three-bedroom units, and 4 live-work units. It also contains 3,300 ground floor level commercial space at the site in conjunction with the live-work units. The public accessible is a 528 linear foot passive park that you see illustrated in the picture. It also will have 518 surface parking spaces. It will be enhanced with stormwater and retention on the site, certified green building construction, and Florida native vegetation. The economic impact is anticipated to provide 986 short-term direct and indirect jobs during the construction period of 2 years, which is estimated to generate $38 million. The ad valorem taxes is estimated at $585,000 annually. The impact and development fees are approximately $2.9 million and $1.5 million annually spent on retail, food, and beverages by the residents of the Nobing Square is estimated. The conditional use conditions are required that the Development Review Committee review this and City Council review the site plan. The items for the site plan is scheduled for October the 11th, come before City Council for review for approval. The construction of a sidewalk along Northwest 17th Avenue frontage. All utilities must be underground and provide LEED certified or equivalent certification prior to the certificate of occupancy. Sustainability comments were as followed, that they need to provide green walls, minimum excavation of the foundation, biofields, and a rain garden. The next steps, as stated, it has to go through Development Review Committee. It's already in Development Review Committee, and they have actually received their final approval. The next step will be coming before you on October the 13th for review of the site plan associated with this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You receive previews.
I have to swear.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Before swearing applicants or residents in, I'm going to read this into the record. Quasi-judicial items, please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to speak in favor or object to or comment on any item, please complete a public speaker card indicating the agenda item number on which you would like to comment. You must be sworn before addressing the city council, and you may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse to submit to cross-examination, the city council will not consider your comments in its final deliberation. Please also disclose any ex parte communications you may have had with any members of the city council. City council members must do the same. At this time, if you would like to speak on this item or any item on the agenda, please stand to be sworn in. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Okay. Thank you.
For swearing them for this specific item or for all the quasi? All the, okay. Is there any additional presentation for that one now? Tab H?
I think staff is done.
City Manager, is the live stream working? I got a text from a resident stating that the live stream.
But it's just a code of announcement. The code for the announcement. It's
No,
been
the
called
live
up.
stream online.
The code up for the announcement. Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. I'm Mickey Marrero from the law firm Burkow, Rodell, Fernandez, Larkin, and Tapinas, attorney for Integra Investments, North Miami Ventures, the applicant. With me today is Manny Martinez from Integra and some folks from our development team. We have, if the mayor would like, we have a presentation ready for you all. But what I can tell you is, I know there's a lot going on outside today with the storm. We
Yeah.
are in full agreement with staff's recommendations and all of their conditions.
Okay.
In addition, you all did see this project during the hearing for the brownfield designation.
Brownsville.
And
Yeah,
we will
that-
be back before you in 2 weeks on October 11th for the site plan approval.
Okay.
In addition, the project is seeking only the entitlements. We're not seeking additional height. We could go 110 feet. We're only asking for 7 stories. We could seek bonuses to
You
reach.
didn't change anything from last time.
No, other than working with your staff to improve the project on sustainability and urban development standards, we haven't asked for anything more than what you've seen before.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab H. Yes.
Sarah McDevitt, 14490 Northeast 10th Avenue. I just want to say that it's nice to see more and more interest on the west side of town. And I love hearing the developer saying that they're considering more and more integration of environmental improvements to their project. One thing I'll say is just when we see so many surface parking spaces in an area that we know has a tendency to flood, it'd be nice if we could, with these new projects we see coming up, look at ways we could do a little bit more with vertical parking and make sure that we keep open green spaces around the buildings, encouraging more space for water runoff, but also for our residents to enjoy green space with the new developments we're putting in. So just wanted to comment, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Public
Good
hearing.
afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Lola Capers. I live at 13920 Northwest 14th Avenue. We are approximately maybe 150 feet or plus from the new development. We are embracing the new development. We think it's a very good idea. We think that they should be approved for their permit. And Integra has been working with the residents within the community. I think the last time they were supposed to have meetings, we have had 2 community meetings. And not only that, this developer is not only working with the community, they are hiring within the community. They hired JD Landscaping, which is right around the corner, to do their cleanup. So I think that we welcome them. They have been doing a good job. They have been listening, and they have been complying. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. Council members,
I'll move approval.
second.
Can I
With
say a few
question.
words?
With question.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No. With
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I am so glad this finally coming to fruition. It's been a while, you know, I almost forgot about it, but I'm glad that you guys are out there working and doing what needs to be done. And I love the renderings, and especially I think there was a little fine details that we had talked about, and I appreciate the intake and everything for it. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve
No,
the item at tab H.
No other questions?
Yet another.
Okay. Yes, Madam Clerk.
The motion was seconded by Mayor Bieneme. Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estime Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Tab I.
Tab I, a proposed quasi.
Mayor, I'm sorry, before I forget, going back to tab G, because the vice mayor asked me to put this on the record, there was a question about whether or not the CIB had subpoena powers. Section 2-265 of the ordinance does empower the CIB to issue subpoenas. So I just want to put that on the record.
Thank you very much.
And just for the record, we're the only county board in the county. Thank you.
Ready? All right. Tab I, a proposed quasi-judicial resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, approving an application for a conditional use permit in substantially the attached form for a proposed 585-unit mixed-use development consisting of a 16-story and an 18-story residential apartment building with rooftop amenity decks and 28,481 square feet of ground-level commercial space on 2 parcels of real property located at 12200 Northeast 14th Avenue and the vacant lot directly south, specifically identified with Miami-Dade County folio numbers 06-2229-000-0171 and 06-2229-000-0175. and totaling approximately 3.9 acres in accordance with Article 3, Division 4, Sections 3-402 through 3-407, and Article 4, Division 2, Sections 4-202, Section 4-203A, and Section 4-205, and Article 4, Division 3, Section 4-310 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, providing for an effective date and all other purposes. Tab I.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Derek Cook with Community Planning and Development Director. Through the City Manager, as stated by the Honorable City Clerk, the item before you is a conditional use permit to allow for the construction of a mixed-use development containing 585 floating bonus units from the secondary pool. The subject property is 2 lots totaling 3.9 acres, 169,929 square feet, located at 12200 Northeast 4th Avenue, and a vacant lot that is located directly south of the parcel. The current use is a warehouse, office, and vacant lot. The property is zoned M1, which is industrial, and it has a maximum height of 55 feet and no residential uses. The property is also located within the North Miami Transit Station Overlay District, which allots them 150 units per acre and 200 feet maximum height. The Planning Commission at its regularly scheduled meeting of September the 6th reviewed this item and recommended approval with a 5-0 vote. Specific to the conditional use, the applicant is seeking to have the 585 bonus units through this process and through the secondary pool. You would have a 16-story building and an 18-story building. You have approximately 28,000 square feet of commercial space at the site. The development on the subject property will be in phase 2. Phase 1 will be located in, I will get to it, is located in the county, which is that parcel to the south of it. On the south parcel, you would have parking and residential and commercial uses. And on the north parcel, which is within the city, you would have residential uses and commercial uses. The approval of the, also includes the approval of conceptual development master plan at this stage instead of a precise plan. The conceptual development master plan allows for maximum flexibility for the applicant, and also will require that the applicant go through the development review committee for each phase in development. As long as they meet the conditional use permit conditions, meet the conceptual plan, and meet the LDRs, then they can go through the process for their site plans administratively. The economic impact of the project will provide 1,712 short-term direct and indirect jobs during the construction of the 2-year period, with a $91.33 million in wages, approximately 140 to 180 full-time jobs after construction, and a 15.56 million in spent retail, food and beverages sales and residents of the Prestige City View. The average loan is estimated at $952,000 annually. Impact and development fees is approximately $2.5 million. The conditional use conditions requires a development review committee. All development consistent with the conceptual master plan, development plan, including final site design and architectural compliances, construction and maintain a 6-foot sidewalk along Northeast 14th Avenue, unification of the properties, a cross-access and shared parking agreement, a certificate of occupancy and a certificate of use, provide LEED certified or equivalent certification prior to the certificate of occupancy, and sustainability comments must be met. The development consistent with the conceptual master plan, development plan, subject to the DRC review and approval. The next step would be for the items to come before the Development Review Committee for review of the site plans. Thank you.
Just a reminder that if you haven't submitted a speaker card, to please grab one and complete it. You can bring it up to me directly or to one of the officers in the room.
Good evening. Pedro Gassan of Holland Night with offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. I'm joined this evening by my colleague Alessandra Saint-Romain, as well as by our intern, Ms. Chetut. We're also joined by our consultant, Andre Pierre, and we're also joined this evening by our principal of Prestige, Mr. Elvis Dumerville. And we're here this evening on behalf of Prestige Cityview, LLC, with respect to its request for a conditional use permit to develop a mixed-use development composed of 585 residential units and over 28,000 square feet of commercial space that will include the Prestige headquarters. Prestige is owned and operated by Mr. Dumerville, who is a product of this community and has made significant investments throughout North Miami. Tonight, we are seeking your approval of our requests. We are thankful to have staff's recommendation of approval, as well as the Planning Commission's unanimous recommendation of approval of our requests, as it will help to address the significant need for more housing inventory within the city. There are 3 points that I want you to remember as part of my presentation tonight. First, this application is necessary to accommodate our rapidly rising population in the county and the city. Second, the property's location makes it the ideal place for mixed-use development. And finally, the project will provide significant economic benefits. Next slide, please. This property is located just south of Northeast 123rd Street and east of the railroad tracks. The property that is located in North Miami is 3.89 acres and is currently zoned for industrial uses, but is within the North Miami Station Transit Overlay. It is entirely separated from single-family residential uses by the railway and is immediately adjacent to compatible multifamily uses to the east across Northeast 14th Avenue. Approving the conditional use permit tonight presents the opportunity to eliminate the industrial use on the property and to address the real need for additional housing inventory within the city. This will allow the city to further accommodate our rapidly growing population. Next slide, please. As you all know, this county has been growing by approximately 25,000 people every single year. That's 2,000 people every single month and about 68 people every single day. We have to increase the residential housing inventory to accommodate these folks and to ensure that we can have the residential supply to meet the needs. Next slide, please. But here in Miami-Dade County, we are limited as to where we can build. To our west, we have the Everglades, and to our east, we have the Atlantic Ocean. We only have a limited area of where we can develop, and this is putting pressure on the prices and the inventory of residential housing supply that we can develop within the city and throughout the county. Next slide, please. In fact, the lack of inventory in Miami-Dade County today has made us the epicenter of unaffordability in the country because of the inability to provide housing inventory. But this city, in its view and in its vision, has taken steps to ensure that there is going to be substantial housing inventory by providing for the North Miami Station Transit Overlay District and by providing for opportunities for redevelopment of sites such as this one. Next slide, please. But without that foresight, one of the things that you've seen is that throughout Miami-Dade County, the average median sales price has gone to about $515,000. Between April 2020 and April 2021, the average sales price rose by $133,000 in 1 year. When you take that into perspective, that's about $11,000 every single month that a single-family home increased in price. And that is putting pressure on the ability of folks to be able to afford a single-family home. Is putting more pressure on multifamily homes. Next slide, please. Unfortunately, as a result of the increased demand for multifamily units, we are in a scenario that is unparalleled. In 2021 alone, 7,415 multifamily units were absorbed. Currently, the vacancy rate throughout the county has gone down to 3.2%, which is almost unprecedented. Next slide, please. When you dig into these numbers, they're absolutely incredible. If you look at the arrows, which are on the screen, you will see that the vacancy rates and the net absorption. If you go back almost a decade, back to 2012, you will not see a vacancy rate as low and a net absorption rate as high. There's a significant demand, and there's a lack of inventory that is being addressed all throughout this county. Next slide, please. This city also recognized this need for providing for more supply because of the demand and the impacts on affordability. The city in this plan noted that the majority of the housing stock within the city are over 50 years old, and a lot of the existing housing stock lack basic infrastructure such as plumbing. It also identified demand as a significant issue, as demand is exacerbating the affordability issues within the city, as there are more households seeking units than there are units available. Our project will help to address this affordability issue by committing existing units that Mr. Dumerville has been renovating and rehabilitating to provide for affordable housing and workforce housing today. Next slide, please. Turning back to the zoning for a bit and the city's vision, the property is located within the North Miami Station Transit Overlay District. This overlay district was instituted to apply to locations with multimodal transit options and to incentivize development with higher density. Specifically, within the overlay district, as noted by Derek, properties are permitted to develop with 150 dwelling units an acre. And given the property's location, we think it's uniquely situated to leverage that opportunity for more density, to be in a place that can be compatible, and to provide for the opportunity for transit access. Next slide, please. However, looking at the property today, you wouldn't see or realize its ability to leverage its location to serve as a transit-oriented development, because it's literally developed with a property that was previously developed as a industrial development back in 1969. Next slide, please. This is the site plan for the project. The northern portion of the project is located within the city, and the southern portion is located within Miami-Dade County. The portion of the project located within North Miami is planned to be developed with 585 units and over 28,000 square feet of commercial. Next slide. The project will incorporate significant streetscape and buffering, and it is anticipated to include several plazas throughout the development. And this will further the project's ability to serve as a focal point as a transit-oriented development within the city. Next slide, please. Now, this project will serve uniquely to provide for the transit uses throughout the city. It's in close proximity of the planned commuter rail station within the city. It also has immediate access to bus route 10, 16, 107, 3, and the 2 Normie Express routes. Next slide, please. This is a rendering of the project. As you can see, one of the aspects of it is that we're providing for it to be lesser in height as you're towards the west of the project, as you get closer to the rail line, and to go up in height as you get closer to the multifamily units across on Northeast 14th Avenue. Next slide, please. This is another rendering of the project that helps to show you the lush landscape aspect and feel of the project, and we're taking into the perspective of providing for a design that will take into account the natural beauty of the area. And this is another rendering for the project. And this is a perspective of the city view feel that you get from the project. And this is a sense of the scale and amenities that will be provided as part of the development. Next slide. And these are some additional renderings. And one of the final aspects with respect to this project is, as Derek noted, is we will be providing over $2.4 million in municipal permits. We will be increasing the ad valorem taxes to $952,000 annually, which is more than 50 times what is currently paid on the property. Because of the property's location, its ability to provide for additional residential housing inventory, we think it's the ideal development and ideal location for the redevelopment within the city. We thank you for your time. I would like to reserve some time for rebuttal if necessary. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab I.
A reminder that there are 2 podiums for folks to line up at.
We have 2 podiums. You can come, please.
Did I? Oh, thanks. Is that mine? Thank you. All right. Sarah McDevitt, 14490 Northeast 10th Avenue. Exciting to see projects more and more coming to the TOD zone. The one thing that I just wanted to get a little bit more clarity on, and I know I've heard you guys asking about it in prior meetings, is how many bonus units are really left for the rest of that TOD zone? Because it seems that this project, the scale is significant in comparison to what's already there, exciting and could be great, but with the number of bonus units they're requesting, where does that leave us in the rest of that area? What kinds of things are going to be able to be built in the rest of that area, and will the scale be comparable to what they're proposing here, or is that something that's going to be the only development in that area that'll be of that size?
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab I.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Rod Cinto, 12240 Northeast 14th Avenue. We're a stone's throw away from this property, literally about 200 feet. We own 2 business properties there. We also live here in North Miami. Been here for over 35 years. This property, well, I'm a progressive. I believe in building new buildings and putting things up. This property is way too big for the space. It cannot handle the traffic. It cannot handle the infrastructure or support of the area. It looks great on pictures, but it's not practical for what we have. I believe the building should go forward, but in a much scaled down effort to be able to match the area and the properties that are around there. It's great to say what we have. You know, all the jobs that are going to create are fantastic, but most of those jobs will not be in North Miami. Yes, we do need the taxes, which is great, again, but this is not practical for what we're doing here. We cannot support this. We cannot support the traffic in this area either. This is over 500 parking spaces, over 500 units at a car a space. It cannot handle the traffic in the area. We're already having a rough enough time with not having this there, and the traffic's backing up all the time, and there's problems in the area. So I believe that this thing needs to be scaled down and reconsidered in light of what's there and what's available and what can be handled by the area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is still open on tab I.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm actually here. I came because of tabs J and K, but I just felt compelled to come up and speak about tab I. I'm in shock that the same representatives for this massive project are the same ones that are for the subsequent 2 tabs. They are proposing to build more extremely tall buildings off of 123rd Street, essentially, adding traffic. I would love to see all these traffic studies that they've supposedly done. I'm not prepared to talk about this one in particular, but I just cannot conceptualize how nearly 600 apartment units would be possible in such a small space. All of those would have at least 1 vehicle, if not 2. All of those leading off to 123rd Street, where the crossing is of the railroad tracks, where the Bright Line passes by constantly. I mean, this is something to consider. And honestly, just having read this as a North Miami resident, I just would not be in favor of this ever. And again, it's very questionable that the same people that are now talking about low-income housing and having more affordability, and now in Miami you can't find anywhere to live, in a few minutes we'll be talking about condos that are going to be sold at $4.5 million and above. So it's very ironic, contradictory, and honestly appalling. So I urge you to vote against this. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may we ask the speaker to give her name and address for the record?
I apologize. I was so passionate I forgot to do that. My name is Loreto Romo Sabel. I reside in 12455 North Bayshore Drive, and that's in North Miami, Florida, within Keystone Point. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, so just a reminder that we don't clap here, but we could do some of this, some of that. But the noise, yelling, clapping, we can't.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is open on tab I. Public hearing is now closed. And just a question.
Mr. Mayor, I want to just take 1 minute for rebuttal. 1 sec. It's going to take me 2 seconds to really get this out. The first is that with respect to traffic, the whole reason why the city put in place the North Miami Station Transit Overlay District was to incentivize more developments in close proximity to transit. This city, based off of the vision of your great council and city staff, is the only city in all of Miami-Dade County that will have 2 transit stops. Don't know exactly where they're going to be. We know they're going to be close to Northeast 123rd. We know the other's going to be off of 151st Street. But the whole idea of that is to provide for more residential density, to get traffic off the roads so that more people can utilize commuter services and commuter stops. To do that and to get federal dollars to support that, you need residential density. The second point is, a gentleman made a comment regarding compatibility nearby. Right across the street off of Northeast 14th Avenue is a large condominium development. It's not out of the ordinary. There are no single-family homes in close proximity to the site. Those are the 2 points that I want to make. I am happy to be blessed to represent a variety of different clients within the city. I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful to be here before this council. I thank you for your vision, and I thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Public hearing is now closed. Yes.
Yeah, since it is in District 2, I have met with the developer maybe about a year ago when this project was being proposed, and I know we met today to kind of go over the project in a little bit more detail. The STTOD was passed by this council before I was on here, and it allows, you know, certain development to go up to 200 feet. Am I correct in saying that? So essentially, the STDOD was the STOD, so the Transit Overlay District was put in place so that we can encourage development at this, you know, this height. So this is something that, you know, it's like we make the laws, and this is a law that the city put in place, and this is now what the law calls for, development at this height. And we've had several development within the TOD come before this council and ask for additional units. To McDevitt's question, I want to say we had about 2,700 units left. Not sure how much is left in that number, and that's why we're doing this traffic study to see how much more additional bonus units the city can take. And definitely, I know you guys are taking
Not
into
just traffic, infrastructure.
yes, traffic and infrastructure, water, potable water, how much water we can flow through each development. So it's glad that residents are here today so that they can see how much development is coming before the council. It's every single day. We have these meetings twice a month, and there's always a development project on this agenda. So just advising everyone to just be a little bit more involved, not just when it's in your backyard, but when it's happening throughout the city, because eventually it will happen in your backyard. It happened in my backyard. It's happening in front of Ms. Debbie David's backyard. Development is happening in the city, and we can't stop it because our law allows for it. So I just wanted to put that out there. Additionally, you stated on the record that this developer is ready to address affordable housing now. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Absolutely, Councilwoman. So one of the things that the developer wants to do is that, because it's going to take some time for this project to actually be developed, what he wants to do is provide for affordable and workforce housing units now. He's been fortunate enough to be able to own several units throughout the city that he's rehabilitating today, that he can put online and within the inventory today to ensure that the affordability crisis that this city, which the city has been addressing, can help to provide for the inventory for the affordable housing needs within the city. I think some of the details of that are going to be worked out as we continue to work through the process with the CRA to ensure that we can provide for an AMI that is going to be appropriate and that can appropriately meet the needs of the city. But I know that Mr. Dumerville is committed to that, and that he has made it unequivocally clear to me that that's what he wants to do. He wants to be able to address that issue now without putting it out at risk within the development today. So that's what he wants to do as part of the as part of this project.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure.
Next.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Again, in terms of affordable and workforce housing, that's music to my ears. Just wanted to know what was the percentage that your client is thinking about allocating for affordable housing?
So I think Mr. Dumerville has been thinking in the range of anywhere between 50 and 60 units that he will provide. Now that's upwards of over 10% of the units that he's providing on the site.
Okay. So obviously I would encourage that we do anywhere between 15 to 20. Again, anytime, I always want it to be a win-win. Anytime I want you to win, but then our residents have to win, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. And those were all of my questions in terms of housing.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor.
No question, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry, my mic is off. No question, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any major concern with the project. My only my only, I guess, reason for I would not be supporting of it tonight, but it's something common. It's because that I just find out about it last week, Thursday, and I didn't have enough time to go over anything. But other than that, I'm looking at it, I'm learning as much as I can, and to hear the residents and take it further from there. Thank you.
No questions.
Thank you very much. Can
Move
I
for
hear a motion?
approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Estimate Irvin to approve the item at tab I. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Timothy. Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Timothy, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Estimate Irvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Desilme, how do you vote?
No.
Mayor Bianame, how do you vote?
Yes.
Thank you,
The
Mayor.
motion
Thank you,
carries with a
Councilmembers.
4-1 vote.
Tab K.
Just to clarify, we're skipping J?
Hmm? Oh,
No,
second
that was
reading.
I'm sorry, that,
Oh, yes,
that was
yes,
actually
yes.
a serious question.
Sorry.
Wasn't sure. A proposed quasi-judicial second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending volume 1, goals, objectives, and policies of the city of North Miami 2036 comprehensive plan, specifically by changing the official 2036 future land use map designation from low medium density residential to Bayshore zone for the approximately 1.1 acre property located at 2305 Northeast 123rd Street, and specifically identified with Miami-Dade folio number 06-2228-022-00010, and bounded by Northeast 123rd Street to the south, North Bayshore Drive to the west, and Biscayne Bay to the north and east, in accordance with Section 163.3187 Florida Statutes 2021, and Article 3 entitled Development Review, Division 3, Section 3-302, Sections 3-1104 through 3-1107, Section 3-1109, and Section 3-1110 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29 entitled Land Development Regulations. Tab J.
Thank you very much. We had the presentation last week, that's the second reading, unless there is any change.
I would say that maybe we want to read tab K, which is the land use and the zoning for it. And yes, we have some items that we probably want to read into record as it relates to what the applicant proffered at the first reading.
Tab
if you
K.
wish.
Tab K, a proposed quasi-judicial second reading ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 29 of the city of North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Land Development Regulations at Article 1 entitled General Provisions, specifically at section 1-106 entitled Official Zoning Map, revising the zoning designation from R4 residential to BZ district for the approximately 1.1 acre property located at 2305 Northeast 123rd Street, specifically identified with Miami-Dade folio number 06-2228-022-0010, and bounded by Northeast 123rd Street to the south, North Bayshore Drive to the west, and Biscayne Bay to the north and east. In accordance with section 166.041, parentheses 3, parentheses capital C, Florida Statutes 2022, and sections 3-100, I think it's cut off. Is that 1002?
Which one are you on, Madam Clerk?
All right, and sections 3-1002, 3-1003, 3-1005 through 3-1007, and section 3-302 of the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, entitled Land Development Regulations, declaring the zoning map amendment to be consistent with the city comprehensive plan, further authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to effectuate the zoning map amendment, of providing for repeal, conflict, severability, codification, and for an effective date. Tab K.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Derek Cook with the Community Planning and Development Department Director, through the City Manager. At your own will, sir, if you wish, I can read into the record the items that was proffered by the applicant during the first reading that was distinctive, that I think helped facilitate us getting to the second reading on the item.
No, we
Oh,
did
but no changes have
from what
occurred.
we voted last time.
No changes
Okay.
have occurred, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's open it to the public. Public hearing is open on tab not K first.
Just a reminder
Jay?
that we do have 2 podiums, so please feel free to line up at both of them if you plan to speak on
Public
this
hearing
item.
is now closed. Wait. Oh, we have 2 podium. Come here. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. My name is Tucker Gibbs with law offices at 3835 Utopia Court in Coconut Grove, and I'm here tonight representing the Keystone Point Neighborhood Association. And I wanted to talk, I've talked before about opposition to this project, and we've been listening to the testimony, we've been listening to the presentations, and my client wanted me to talk tonight about the declaration. And what the declaration says and how it says it, and what can be done with that declaration to perhaps allow my clients to support this project. So I wanted to go through some items that are in the declaration and explain to you our client's position on them, and some other things that are in the declaration that you all might be interested in absent my client's interest in them. So I wanted to talk about the height and density. As you know, height and density, height in particular, is the issue for my clients. And my clients have proposed this, and we're going to present it to you. In the application, in the declaration, or in the application, the applicant speaks about 110 feet in height. When you talk about 110 feet in height, you're talking about 110 feet of habitable use. But what that also means is that there's 22 non-habitable feet that is allowed for rooftop return, rooftop mechanical equipment, and 11 feet of flood elevation, which totals 143 feet. So when you're talking about 115 feet, 110 feet, you're actually talking about 143 feet maximum. My client is asking the council to look at this and approve a total number of feet in height of 107 feet. Why 107 feet?
Go ahead.
Okay, why 107 feet? It's because you can have 80 feet of habitable space, 16 feet of the non-habitable space that's allowed in your code, and 11 feet to cover the base flood elevation. Why is it 80 feet? That 80 feet would provide